Babe, don't wait up for me, okay? I'll be swamped with the meetings all weekend. That was the last thing my wife, Lisa, said before she kissed me goodbye, dragging her suitcase out the door. She looked every bit like the hard-working, career-driven woman I had always admired. I trusted her. Until one random night changed everything. It was late, and I was lying in bed, scrolling mindlessly on my phone, trying to fall asleep. The silence of our empty house felt heavier than usual. Out of habit, I opened our shared location app, and something we rarely use, but it had set up years ago in case of emergencies. My eyes skimmed over the screen absent-mindedly, until I saw it. She wasn't in Chicago, where her business conference was supposed to be. She wasn't even in the same state. My heart pounded as I zoomed in, a sickening feeling creeping up my spine. The location pinged somewhere familiar. Too familiar. A hotel. Not just any hotel, but one in Denver. The same city where her ex-boyfriend lived. I stared at the screen, my mind racing. There had to be an explanation. Right? Maybe a flight delay? A last-minute business meeting? But deep down, something inside me already knew the truth. I wasn't going to sit here and make excuses. I needed answers. And there was only one way to get them. I sat on the edge of the bed, my mind a chaotic storm of emotions. Anger, disbelief, betrayal. My hands clenched around my phone as I stared at the screen, watching the tiny blue dot sit unmoving at a hotel in Denver. Lisa wasn't supposed to be there. She was supposed to be in Chicago, stuck in endless meetings, too busy to even call me. At least that's what she had told me. But she had lied. And if she lied about this, what else had she been lying about? A sinking feeling settled in my chest. I needed proof. I forced myself to take a deep breath, trying to think logically. If Lisa was hiding something, there had to be more signs. Things I had missed before. I pulled up our text messages again, scrolling back through weeks of conversations. At first, nothing stood out, just the usual I love yous and casual check-ins. But then I started noticing patterns. There were weekends when she was too exhausted to FaceTime. Business trips that always seemed last minute, barely planned. Messages that felt detached, shorter than usual, less affectionate. And then I saw it. A conversation from 3 weeks ago. Lisa. Landed safe, so exhausted. Heading to the hotel now. Love you. Me. Glad you made it. Which hotel again? Lisa. I can't even remember the name right now. I'll text you later. She never did. At the time, I thought nothing of it. But now, my gut screamed at me. She had avoided answering on purpose. My pulse pounded as I switched to her email, my fingers moving faster than my thoughts. We had always been open with each other's accounts. No secrets. At least that's what I had believed. The inbox was mostly work emails and newsletters. But then I saw a flight confirmation. One-way ticket to Denver. Not booked by her company, not on a corporate account. She had repaid for it herself. Why would she do that? Before I could process the implications, I kept digging. I opened her credit card statement, scanning through recent charges. My heart nearly stopped. A hotel reservation, luxury suite, 2 guests. The date? The exact same weekend she was supposed to be in Chicago. Blood roared in my ears. She wasn't just meeting someone. She had planned this, carefully, deliberately. I felt sick, but I wasn't done. I checked her call log, scrolling past familiar names. Mine, her co-workers, until I saw one that made my stomach churn. Jason, her ex, the same man who had broken her heart years ago, the one she'd sworn was just a mistake from the past. The call history wasn't just once or twice, it was dozens of calls, some short, some lasting over an hour. The last one? 2 nights ago, while she was lying next to me in bed. I stood up so fast the room spun. My breath came in sharp, uneven gasps as I clenched my fists, trying to stop my hands from shaking. How long had this been going on? And I needed more. I needed confirmation. And I got it in the most unexpected way. Just as I was about to throw my phone against the wall, it vibrated in my hand. A message. From Mike, Lisa's coworker, and a mutual friend. Mike. Hey man, are you already in Denver? I thought Lisa said you were surprising her this weekend. I froze. Denver. Lisa had told him I was in Denver. I stared at the message, my mind racing. Was this some kind of mistake? I took a deep breath, my fingers tightening around my phone as I forced myself to reply. Me? Wait, what? She told you that? Mike? Yeah, she mentioned it at work the other day. Said she had a big weekend ahead and that you might be flying out there to surprise her. My pulse pounded. She told her coworkers that I was going to Denver? 1,000 thoughts collided at once. Why would she say that? Was this her way of covering her tracks? If someone asked about her trip, she could just say she was with her husband the whole time? Or was she getting her lies mixed up? I gritted my teeth, forcing myself to type calmly. Me. Which hotel did she say she was staying at? And Mike took a minute to respond. Mike. The Grand Royale. I'm pretty sure. She just mentioned it in passing. Said it was a super fancy place. Honestly, I thought it was weird. She acted kind of flustered when I asked if you guys were doing anything special. I swallowed hard. The Grand Royale. That was the same hotel listed on her credit card statement. And worse, it was the exact same hotel her ex Jason had posted a picture from last night. My blood turned ice cold. Mike was still typing. Mike. Oh. And she said if anyone from work asked, she was busy with meetings all weekend. Didn't want people bothering her. I let out a slow, humorless laugh. Lisa was so damn careful. She had built her alibi like a fortress. She had made sure her coworkers knew she was in Denver for business. She had even planted the idea that I might be there just in case someone saw her and Jason together. It was brilliantly manipulative, but she had made one mistake. She hadn't expected anyone to tell me. And now, her entire lie was unraveling in real time. I exhaled sharply, feeling something shift inside me. This wasn't just some misunderstanding. This wasn't just a bad coincidence. Lisa wasn't just lying to me. She was living an entirely different life behind my back. And I was done playing the fool. No more doubts, no more excuses. I grabbed my jacket, my keys, and my phone. I was going to Denver. And Lisa had no idea what was coming. The drive to Denver felt like a fever dream. The city lights blurred in the distance, my mind racing faster than the car beneath me. I had replayed every lie Lisa told me in my head over and over again. I'll be too busy to call. I love you. See you when I get home. Each word felt like acid now, burning through every ounce of trust I had in her. And yet, the most ironic part? She had forgotten to turn off her location. That's how I found out. Not through some grand confession, not by accident, but because she got sloppy. The woman who had spent weeks, maybe months, crafting the perfect alibi had overlooked the one detail that led me right to her. I glanced at my phone, the blue dot still sitting on the screen, unmoving. The Grand Royale Hotel. Her last known location. She had no idea I was coming. I gripped the steering wheel tighter as I merged onto the final stretch of highway. I wasn't even sure what I'd do when I got there. Walk into the hotel lobby and demand to know what room she was in. Call her out in front of everyone? Or worse, find her with him, in the middle of her betrayal. I didn't have a plan. All I had was proof, rage, and a need for answers. By the time I pulled into the parking lot, my hands were shaking, but not from nerves, from pure, controlled fury. A trail of lies. I parked near the back, out of sight, and sat for a moment staring at the hotel's bright neon sign. My heart pounded. I took a deep breath and checked my phone again. She was still here. I got out of the car, pulling my hood up to keep a low profile. The last thing I needed was to alert her before I had my proof. The hotel lobby was grand. Polished floors, an elegant chandelier, and front desk staff dressed to perfection. To any outsider, this place reeked of class and wealth. But to me, it was a crime scene. I kept my head down that night walking past the check-in desk, pretending to scroll on my phone like I belonged there. I didn't know her room number, but I didn't need to, not yet. Because the bar was right in front of me. And so was she. The ultimate betrayal. Lisa sat at a small, intimate table near the corner. She looked relaxed. Her hair was done up, her makeup flawless, her dress hugging her body in a way I hadn't seen in months. She wasn't dressed for a business meeting. She was dressed for a date. And across from her sat Jason. I felt my stomach drop. They were leaning in close, drinks in hand, talking in hushed voices. And then Jason reached across the table, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear. And she let him. She let him. A wave of nausea rolled through me. This wasn't just a mistake. This wasn't just a moment of weakness. This was something she had planned. I clenched my fists, nails digging into my palms so hard I thought I might draw blood. I could feel my pulse hammering in my ears. Every instinct screamed at me to walk over there, to flip the table, to demand answers right then and there. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted more. So I took out my phone and started recording, the final nail in the coffin. I followed them, not closely enough to be obvious, but enough to keep them in my sights. Lisa and Jason left the bar, still laughing, still completely unaware that their little fantasy world was about to crumble. I watched as Jason's hand slid to the small of her back, guiding her toward the elevator. They stepped inside. The doors began to close. I barely made it in before they shut. Lisa was so wrapped up in her little affair that she didn't even look up to see who had just walked in. The elevator climbed, each second stretching into an eternity. Jason whispered something in her ear, and she giggled. I swallowed the bile rising in my throat. The doors opened on the 10th floor. Lisa and Jason stepped out. I waited a beat before following. They walked down the hall, her heels clicking softly against the carpet. Then room 1023. Jason slid the key card in. The green light flashed. The door swung open. Lisa stepped inside without hesitation. The door shut behind them. I exhaled slowly. My hand shook as I lifted my phone. I snapped a picture of the room number, undeniable proof. Then I hit record again, and I knocked. The confrontation. At first, nothing, then soft footsteps. The door cracked open and Lisa peeked out, and the second she saw me, her face drained of color. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Behind her, Jason's voice drifted from the room. "Babe, who is it?" Then he appeared beside her, his shirt unbuttoned, his hair slightly messy. And that was it. The final confirmation. Lisa stumbled for words. This isn't... I held up my phone, the screen still recording. "Say hi to the camera, Lisa. I want to remember this moment forever." Her breath hitched. "Ryan, please, I can explain..." I let out a humorless laugh. "Explain what? That you're in a hotel room with your ex while I was supposed to be at home waiting for you like a fool?" Jason took a step forward. "Look, man, I cut him off. "Shut up." Lisa grabbed my arm, desperate. "Ryan, just let me talk." I yanked away from her touch like it burned. "You lost the right to talk the second you lied to my face." Her eyes filled with tears. "It was a mistake, I swear." I shook my head, laughing bitterly. "A mistake? Booking a flight with your own money? Reserving a suite for two? Telling your coworkers I was coming so you could cover your tracks? No, Lisa. This wasn't a mistake. This was a plan." Jason shifted uncomfortably. "Look, man, we didn't mean for you to find out like this." I turned to him, my voice razor sharp. "I hope she's worth it, because you just ruined her life, and she sure as hell ruined mine." I didn't wait for a response. I turned around and walked away, leaving them standing there, stunned and speechless. Lisa kept calling after me, her voice breaking, but I didn't stop. I was done. I didn't look back. Lisa called my name, her voice breaking as she tried to explain, to beg, to undo what she had done, but there was nothing left to save. I walked out of that hotel, out of her lies, out of the life we had built together. Because in that moment, I realized it was never real. The marriage, a facade. The trust, gone. The woman I thought I knew, didn't exist. By the time I got back to my car, my phone was already buzzing with notifications, not just from Lisa, but from Mike. Mike. "Dude, what the hell's going on? People at the office are talking." I narrowed my eyes and typed back. Me. "Oh, you'll hear soon enough." Because I wasn't just going to let Lisa and Jason walk away from this. They had used company time, company resources, and company-paid trips to fuel their affair. And I had every piece of proof I needed to make sure they paid for it. The company-wide exposure. I wasn't going to let Lisa and Jason rewrite the narrative. The moment I got home, I opened my laptop, attached the videos, screenshots, and flight records, and sent them directly to HR. Attachment 1. Video of Lisa and Jason together at the hotel bar, drinking and flirting. Attachment 2. Video of Lisa entering Jason's hotel room. Attachment 3. Screenshots of Lisa's flight confirmation to Denver. Paid out of pocket, not company covered. Attachment 4. Screenshots of Jason's social media posts from the same hotel. The subject line? Urgent policy violation. Lisa R. and Jason M. I didn't sugarcoat it. To whom it may concern, I am providing this as evidence of a serious violation of workplace policy. 2 employees, Lisa R. and Jason M., engaged in inappropriate personal conduct during a work-sponsored trip. This includes dishonesty regarding travel expenses, misuse of company time, and violating company policies on workplace relationships. I expect this to be handled accordingly. The next morning, I got the response. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. After internal review, disciplinary action has been taken. Both employees are no longer with the company. Not just fired, blacklisted. Their company had zero tolerance for scandals like this. And the best part? HR didn't keep it private. They sent out a mass email to the entire office. Subject policy violation, immediate terminations of employees, from HR department to all staff. Effective immediately, Lisa R. and Jason M. are no longer employed with this company due to violations of workplace policies regarding personal conduct. Any inquiries should be directed to HR. It was vague enough to be professional, but everyone knew. By lunchtime, the entire office was buzzing with gossip. Lisa and Jason didn't just lose their jobs. They lost their reputations. Lisa's downfall. Lisa showed up at our house later that night. She looked wrecked, makeup smudged, hair messy, still in the same dress she had worn at the hotel. The moment she saw me, she burst into tears. "Ryan, please, just let me explain," she choked out. I didn't mean for this to happen." I stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "You didn't mean to cheat on me? You didn't mean to lie about your entire trip? You didn't mean to get caught?" She flinched, wiping her tears away. I lost my job, Ryan. Everything is falling apart. Please, just talk to me." I took a deep breath. "You lost your job because you made stupid choices. You lost me because you destroyed this marriage. And now, you're facing the consequences of your own actions." She reached out, voice breaking. "Can we fix this?" I laughed. A bitter, hollow laugh. "There is no we anymore, Lisa." I stepped aside, revealing her suitcases, already packed, already waiting by the door. Her breath hitched. "You packed my stuff?" "I'm not letting you stay here," I said simply. Her eyes widened, desperation creeping into her face. "And where am I supposed to go?" "That's not my problem." Her mouth opened, then closed. She had nothing left to say. I watched as she dragged her suitcases outside, stumbling slightly before disappearing into the night. Jason got what he deserved. As for Jason, he tried to play the victim. Apparently, when HR confronted him, he blamed Lisa. Said she seduced him, that it wasn't technically against the rules since they weren't reporting to the same boss. It didn't work. He got the exact same termination email, and no severance, no references. The industry was small. No one wanted to hire a guy who got fired for sleeping with a married coworker on a business trip. Last I heard, he had to move out of state just to find work. The final goodbye. Lisa tried to reach out again a few weeks later. She sent me a long, pathetic email full of apologies, excuses, and empty promises. "Lisa, I don't know who I am without you. I miss you so much. Can we at least talk?" I didn't even respond. I just blocked her. Because I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was free. And that was the best revenge of all. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your trust, your sense of reality, and sometimes even your identity. I thought I knew Lisa. I thought we had built something real, something worth fighting for. But in the end, I realized something far more important. Some battles aren't meant to be fought. Some people aren't worth saving. When someone shows you their true colors, believe them the first time. Don't waste your energy trying to fix what's already shattered. Lisa thought she could manipulate her way out of this. She thought she could lie her way back into my life. But trust once broken is never the same. And the most ironic part? She destroyed herself. The consequences of betrayal. Lisa and Jason thought they could play their little game in secret, that their affair would never catch up to them. But secrets don't stay buried forever. They lost their jobs, they lost their reputations, and they lost each other. Because cheating isn't just about a moment of weakness. It's about a pattern of dishonesty. If Lisa had come to me, if she had admitted she was unhappy, things could have ended differently. Maybe we would have gone our separate ways with dignity. Maybe there wouldn't have been a need for revenge. But she made her choice, and I made mine. The best revenge. Moving on. I could have let this consume me. I could have turned bitter, let anger eat away at me. But I didn't. Because the best revenge isn't watching them suffer. It isn't getting them fired or exposing them. It's walking away. It's thriving while they fade into irrelevance. And that's exactly what I did. Lisa tried to come back, but I'd already closed that door. Jason tried to move on, but his reputation followed him everywhere. Meanwhile, I rebuilt. I found peace. I surrounded myself with people who actually respected me. Because at the end of the day, walking away isn't weakness. It's power. Now tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you have exposed them like I did? Or would you have let karma take its course? Let's talk in the comments.